Good morning. Today I will be talking about a presentation. The title of the paper that I will be presenting is The Potential Use of Blockchain Technology in Railway Applications. I will introduce a mobility and speech recognition prototype that is being used in infrastructure inspection. So my presentation outline will start with an introduction. Then we'll talk a little bit about the problem that we are trying to solve. We go to the solution and the solution direction. Then I will show you part of the paper that I've done, which is a literature review of the use of blockchain in the IoT technology. Then the use of blockchain in railways. I will talk a little bit about technology adoption rate. Then I will talk about two novel demonstrations about a smart bus stop and about a system called Inspectro. Then I will conclude. So the problem starts with that railway organization would always like to improve their performance KPIs. They always want to run a safer railway, a higher quality railway, a more punctual railway. And what we see here in the picture, some of the performance KPI of railways that is being taken from MTR, a famous metro in Hong Kong. So in order to solve this problem, many people have seen that railway organizations will be interested in digitalization and trying to bring more data out of the railway and trying to solve some of the problem using data. This direction has proved to be effective, and it helped in terms of maintenance and cost reduction of different failures. This is why we see there are a lot of sensors that is being put around our infrastructure, and the data is being collected on a day-to-day basis in an environment that can be described as an IoT environment, which basically a lot of sensors connected online that provide many information. This provides a large number of data, large amount of data. This data can come from infrastructure data, trains data, other data sources, and sometimes passenger data in addition to other sources. In order to utilize this data, it should be integrated so you can see the whole picture of the system that you are trying to analyze. Data integration in railways and around the world was a challenge because there was always a challenge in building trust. Some parties have conflicting interests, but with some common interest areas. Sometimes it's very hard to gain the full participation of all stakeholders. Sometimes the challenge was technical. Data standardization was a problem in addition to others. So many people have seen that a technology like blockchain or ontology could help in terms of data integration. So the blockchain have these features, which is about peer-to-peer interaction, consensus mechanism, cryptology, and hashing process that looked very attractive for many organizations. It has been seen as a solution that can provide the following: additional security, transparency and trust, decentralization. It also was interesting for an organization that is interested in sharing their data in a more secure and transparent way, and the ability to integrate this data in a whole system form. So it's not only the blockchain. Now we are living in the times of big data, cloud computation, and IoT. There are many potential technologies that can solve some of the challenges that is being faced by these environments, including fog computing and computation on the edge, and they have some level of decentralization feature. So I started thinking maybe I should be writing something about this topic, and my motivation for this was while I was doing my PhD at the University of Birmingham, I have reached an architecture that looks very similar on how the blockchain structure looks like. So I decided to review the work that has been done, specifically in relation to IoT application, and see whether blockchain can help in overcoming some of the data integration in the IoT scene. So I have done a review of different papers that has tried to use the blockchain within the IoT application. current IoT systems are cloud computing infrastructure, which have many disadvantages. Blockchain has been seen as a solution that can help in terms of data integration, security, and trust, and reduction of a cloud cost on the long term. Potential areas of application for the technology. I looked at different papers, and it's clear that you can use blockchain in smart diagnosis and machine maintenance, traceability, supply chain tracking. Healthcare is a big area of application where you can you can transfer data in a secured way between patients and different health providers. Another area of application is building trust among individuals. Of course, if you would like to see the full list of applications which help you to see how blockchain can help in sharing data in a secure, transparent, and effective way, you can go to the paper and have a look at the whole applications that I have reviewed. I definitely think there will be more applications coming, and we'll see a lot of work happening in this area. So let me tell you a little bit about blockchain. So the blockchain is peer-to-peer distributed and decentralized data records or ledgers that is linked to each other through cryptology process, or what is called hashing. So we always say it's peer-to-peer distributed decentralized data ledger. Another feature that it have this cryptology feature, hashing. An interesting feature of the blockchain is consensus mechanism. And what we see here is as an example of a consensus mechanism. In order to add a new block, the other blocks has to communicate with the new block and to agree in a particular way that it should join the network. There are different consensus mechanisms. One of them is called proof of work, which is being used by many famous blockchain networks. There is other like proof of stakes and proof of elapsed time. This will be an area of research in the future. Because the technology and the frameworks are the new, we will talk a little bit about the benefits. And always we talk about what are the promised benefits and what are the benefits in reality. So there is a greater level of security, there is transparency, traceability, increasing efficiency and speed, and cost reduction. The first three, you can see them in the structural design of the blockchain. The last two, still you don't see these happening soon. There is a serious scalability issue on the blockchain. Some frameworks are better than others, but in general you can see that there is a low throughput transactions. Also, in terms of security, there was some concerns about the security of the blockchain from many organizations, and on this area more work has to be done. Anonymity, sometimes you can actually, the blockchain promise that people who will be using the network will stay anonymous. Sometimes for IoT nodes it was you could track the IoT owners and understand their identity. The cost of storing sensors data on the blockchain, it seems to be a little bit expensive. So when I look about blockchain and railways, I looked at different organizations and what they have been doing. DB System seem to be doing some work in Germany, and they have defined areas like mapping a complete supply chain, automation of internal accounting processes, and conducting contracts between machine and objects. The rate of adoption on blockchain, some people say that it has enjoyed a great interest, but what you can see in reality that maybe a lot of people are experimenting rather than implementing. So 4 conditions must be met: building trust, gaining the full participation of all stakeholders, overcoming technical challenges, and data standardization. If when these challenges will be overcome, the rate of adoption will increase. This is why I always think, in order to apply a blockchain and to convince people to participate in the blockchain technology, which is some kind of a very big backdoor infrastructure or background infrastructure, you should really have strong demonstrators that can demonstrate value in themselves. Then through the data they can demonstrate even a higher value with the use of the blockchain. Around the world there is a great level of interest and momentum for blockchain technology around the world. So the blockchain solutions, the investments in blockchain solutions are projected to reach 11.7 billion by 2022 according to Deloitte. Momentum is shifting from a focus on learning and exploring to actual experimentation. So the first solution that I will be introducing is Inspectro, which tries to solve a common problem of forgetting visual inspection instructions or not enjoying the repetitive nature of the work or reporting nature of the work. And this solution can be seen in my videos online in details, which basically a mobile device that help inspectors to inspect different items along the infrastructure. The other novel demonstration that I would like to talk about is the smart bus stop. And the smart bus stop is it solves the problem that people tend to forget, tend not to understand how to use public transport if they are new, or they tend to forget where to stop or how to move from point A to point B without looking at their apps. So what we have done, we have added a speech recognition screen to different bus stops, and we have added a coordination screen inside buses and a control center with an app. What happens is the passenger goes to the bus stop and just say his final destination. And so, for example, he says, I would like to go to the airport. The camera of the smart stop will detect his face through image recognition and will and will give him information about the bus that will be coming and for how long he has to wait. After that, he will go to the bus, and the bus will tell him where to stop and what next bus he has to go. So it will be a guidance system through actual infrastructure and screens that demonstrate the person picture along with his next transportation data based on his final destination. The solution is still in an early stage, and it has many technical questions to answer. However, it proves to be effective for people who have no information about public infrastructure or public transport infrastructure in a new country. What you see here in the screen is an example of how the faces will be aligned and how the people will be seeing their next stop and the waiting time that they have to see before the bus will be coming. It will be a kind of an Uber for buses, but based on a queue, fare changes and more. Of course, this allow me to reach almost the end of my presentation. I am here actually to look for collaborations, and collaborations can happen in too many different forms. It can happen in terms of investments, in terms of research proposal collaboration, capacity building, working together, or advices and recommendations. I always welcome any good discussion around these areas, and I'm here for collaboration. Eventually, I'll conclude an introduction about the next steps in railway has been introduced. There was a problem in terms of data sharing and integration for different stakeholders in the industry. The blockchain is seen as a solution that can help in data exchange and integration. Of course, a literature review on the implementation of blockchain across different sectors has been done, specifically around IoT. And this literature review has demonstrated key areas of application. Then we went to talk about the application of blockchain and railways. We talk about the adoption rate. Then we talk about the different novel demonstrators that we have done, specifically a solution called Inspectro, which is a smart inspection solution, and SPS, Emergent Smart Stop Bus Stop. Of course, you can always email me anytime, and you can always look at our solutions online. This website will take you to our YouTube page, which have many of the previous solutions that I have been working on, and it will help you in terms of further understanding our solutions and what we can do. And of course, you can always contact me via WhatsApp on my mobile phone, which will be 00962 79130 808. I shall repeat, you can always contact me via WhatsApp on 00962 79130 808. My email is there. I hope you enjoyed the presentation, and I leave you with a general bibliography, which some of this presentation, which basically about some of the resources that I have used in my research. I wish you a great evening, and this will be the end of the presentation.